Ladies and gentlemen, these are the honorable courtroom creations of the small screen. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 fictional TV judges.
You know the difference between telling the truth and telling a lie, don't you, son?
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the most memorable magistrates of television who either presided over numerous seasons or just one unforgettable performance. We're not limiting this to actual judges, so if the characters play one on TV, that works too. Number 10. Philip Banks, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We rarely see him in his robes, but you can tell what kind of judge Uncle Phil is by the way he runs his household.
What the hell is that?
Beginning the series as a senior partner at Firth, Wynn & Meyer, Philip has a background as a civil rights activist, receiving his education at both Princeton and Harvard Law. He adds judge to his resume later in the series, and we can only assume his tenacity and patience transfer over to the courtroom.
Wait a minute, buddy. Who the hell do you think you're talking?
Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
His authoritative demeanor earns him respect, both in his job and at home. But it's his thorough understanding of the legal system that allows him to offer help and advice to his family members when they get into trouble.
Open that damn cell and let those two boys out of there. I'm going to tie this place up with so much litigation that your grandchildren are going to need lawyers.
Number 9. Justice Strauss, a series of unfortunate events. Serving as quite the contrast to her peculiar and not-so-nice neighbor Count Olaf, Justice Strauss is a sweet and highly educated woman who immediately earns the affections of the Bel-Airs.
How lucky am I to have such unusual children in my life?
Played by Joan Cusack in Netflix's black comedy drama, this judge owns a massive library, to which she allows the children access, and where you'll often find her reading her law books. Despite her good intentions, she inadvertently marries Violet and Count Olaf during a play performance. Luckily, it all works out in the end, and Strauss continues to keep the Bel-Airs close to her justice-seeking mind and heart. Number 8. Owen French, drop-dead diva. While we've got to mention Paula Abdul's turn as the court judge of Jane's dreams, her ex-fiancé Owen French clearly had a bigger part to play in this quirky Lifetime comedy. Serious but unconventional, he began to court Jane almost immediately after they first met, which was when he was a judge on one of her cases. While trying to balance work and their personal lives, the two eventually fall in love and become engaged. But of course, complications ensue.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Owen French.
Though the practical magistrate ultimately leaves his judge's robes behind to become a partner and Jane's boss at Harrison Parker, we will never forget his work behind the bench.
I am the arbiter of ridiculous. Mr. Caswell, come on down.
Number 7. Judge Henry Bone, Picket Fences. Portrayed by the late Ray Walston, this man is your quintessential disgruntled judge who's got no time for any of your tomfoolery.
That's blatant hypocrisy. I won't do it.
Based in the Midwestern town of Rome, Wisconsin, Judge Henry Bone feels it necessary to mold the community with some tough love. And by that we mean he plays by his own rules.
Quiet, quiet. Everybody shut up.
And why not, considering he deals with folks like the self-righteous Mr. Douglas Wambaugh? Sure, Judge Bone is a little cranky, and it's easy to imagine him saying, "Get off my lawn," but he keeps the courtroom in check, demands respect, and functions as the moral compass of the community. Number 6. Roy Snyder, The Simpsons. Based on the late Robert Bork, this man brings a bit of baggage to the courtroom, as his wife left him and incompetent lawyer Lionel Hutz has repeatedly run over his son. Such traumatic experiences could explain his passive-aggressive behavior and odd sensibilities, but then again, it could also be an identity crisis, as Judge Roy Snyder was originally named Judge Moulton. He's a stern judge who makes keen observations, and he understands that boys will be boys.
That's why you're the judge and I'm the law-talking guy.
The lawyer.
Right.
However, he's certainly milder than the alternative, because when Judge Snyder's away, Bart and company are left with the honorable yet shrewd Constance Harm, who is a little less forgiving.
She's such a butthole.
Number 5. Judge Felix Afterman, The Good Wife. Jerry Stiller is best known for his long-standing roles as Seinfeld's Frank Costanza and Arthur Spooner from The King of Queens. But all it took was one narcoleptic episode on The Good Wife to leave his mark on that series. During some Tea Party testimony, Diane Lockhart grills ballistics expert Kurt McVeigh, only to discover that Judge Felix Afterman is a bit detached about the whole thing, lending credence to one lawyer's comments that, quote, It's not the act, it's the cover-up. Want proof?
I'm thinking.
Not only does Judge Felix miss some crucial evidence being presented, he also lazily pretends to be forming actual thoughts. It's a bizarre event, but even more perplexing is the fact that nobody even seems to care. Number 4. Judge Reinhold, Arrested Development. In Season 3 of this dysfunctional family comedy, the Bluth family's legal problems lead to a chance encounter with an 80s movie star.
Are you an actual judge? No, that's just a coincidence.
No, Judge Reinhold isn't an actual judge, but he does play one on TV. However, to be honest, first name aside, he doesn't actually seem to know anything about the legal system. But hey, Judge Judy made $25 million in 1 year, so it only made sense that Judge Reinhold would want to team up with producer Jan Eagleman for a courtroom reality show with a theme song featuring American Idol's William Hung. Okay, maybe Judge Reinhold wasn't the real deal, but his courtroom sure seemed like a lot of fun.
I'm very curious to see where this is going. I'm going to allow it.
If only all hung juries were this entertaining. Number 3. Amy Gray, Judging Amy. Television doesn't always allow us an insider's perspective of the legal system, but this woman gave viewers plenty to contemplate. Based on the life of lead actress Amy Brenneman's own mother, Judging Amy showcases a woman named Amy Gray, who comes to grips with a divorce, being a single mother, the realities of her job as a young judge, and the task of managing business and pleasure.
I'd like to set another hearing for next week.
She works in Connecticut's family court and displays a hardened attitude towards the individuals that pass through her courtroom. Amy epitomizes the hard-working single mother, and through her investigations cases, she learns plenty about who she is and who she wants to be. Number 2. Arraignment Judge Janice Goldberg, the Law and Order franchise. This long-running franchise gave us many notable judges, like Gerald Crane, Barry Moordock, and Liz Donnelly from Special Victims Unit. But who better to play a New York City arraignment judge than actual New York fixture Fran Lebowitz, a real-life Big Apple author and former columnist for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine.
Bell set at 1 million, motions referred to the trial part. Spin the wheel, Louie.
Appearing in a dozen episodes of the original Law & Order, as well as on the spin-off Criminal Intent, Judge Janice Goldberg served up some real talk in her courtroom. This was most notable when she commended a defendant for taking out her cheating husband.
She ran him over 4 times with her car.
I admire her restraint.
She's got no time for any chutzpah, but Judge Janice also often added some comic relief to the deadly serious NBC drama. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Only you know what was in your mind, counsel.
There you go.
That was very moving, Mrs. Griffin. Okay, you can go to jail with him.
What? Considering there's no legal precedent. Oh, what the heck? 90 days.
Number 1. Judge Harold Harry T. Stone, Night Court. In the early 80s, comedy writer Reinhold Weege created this young maverick with a quirky sense of humor and made him the young judge of a Manhattan municipal court. Always the entertainer, Judge Harry T. Stone keeps everybody on their toes, both with his enthusiastic expositions on popular culture, as well as his more serious soliloquies.
I pronounce you a little better off than you were when you came in.
He's a laid-back kind of guy who's able to maintain a life beyond the courtroom, and who doesn't love a judge that doesn't take himself too seriously. On a lighthearted show focused on the intricacies of the courtroom, Harry slams down the gavel with comedic and memorable force.
Well, on that lovely note, let's hold this one over for trial.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.